Hello and welcome to the MSA British Rallycross Championship in association with the Shannon Group. We've crossed the Irish Sea, we're at Mondello Park. It's 4 years since British Rallycross has been here. Joining some of the regular competitors over here, it's going to be a cracker. Over to Dave Goddard for the commentary.
Thanks very much, Tony. Welcome once again to the home of motorsport in Ireland here at Mondello Park, with over 70 cars ready to compete across 9 different classes in a weekend of changeable weather. Some very enjoyable rallycross is set to result from this 4th round of the 2015 British Championship here at Mondello Park. We'll begin with a summary of what happened over the qualifying heats ahead of the A finals coming up a little later on. First up on track were the MSA Junior Rallycross, joined by a couple of competitors from the Irish Junior Rallycross Championship. Three-way fight has developed at the top of the championship this year between Bradley Durden, Sam Jones and pre-season favourites Drew Bellaby. And it was Durden who got off to the best starts, taking victory in the first 2 heats of the day, ahead of Bellaby and a rather wayward Jones. Bellaby had expected to have things all her own way in the championship this year after finishing runner-up in the 2014 Junior Championship, but Durden has certainly given her more than a run for her money so far in 2015, and Jones is beginning to do the same thing as he finds his feet in his first season of Rallycross. Durden was a clear winner in Heats 1 and 2, while Heat 3 the Irish youngsters began to join in. Jake Dooley in the white Toyota Starlet and Brian Martin in his Nissan Micra, mixing it with the Swifts and paying the penalty. Dooley turfed aside there by Drew Bellaby. Bradley Durden tried his hardest to take a hat-trick of heats, but it was Jones who covered himself in glory in this one, just hanging on in a dash to the line with his championship rival, leaving Bellaby winless and only 3rd on the grid for the upcoming A final later in the day. In the senior Swift Sport category, there was dominance across the heats from former champion Aidan Hills, who took a clean sweep of victories in all 3 of the qualifying events. Championship leader Tristan Ovenden, meantime, was left back in the pack, battling with the likes of Darren Scott and Jack Brown, who would only start 4th on the grid for the final. The B final, meantime, saw Jake Taylor aiming for his 3rd successive B final victory in the category. But it was Andrew Hawkes who gave him an early run for his money, the pair running side by side around the opening lap of the event. It looked as though Hawkes was going to score a surprise victory as he battled Taylor and Ellis, but a slow joker lap cost the 18-car Dia and allowed Jake Taylor to take his 3rd successive B final victory. David Ellis in the Sayers Road Tankers sponsored machine, chasing him all the way to the line. These two will qualify for the back of the grid for the all-important A final, Hawkes just missing out. In the RX 150 buggies, the championship battle was set to continue between reigning champion Mark Scott and new sensation Chrissy Palmer. And to continue, it certainly did. Irish Rallycross veteran George Tracy was out in the ex-James Grint buggy and looked set to give the championship contenders a run for their money. But unfortunately, his first heat would come to an abrupt end when the buggy's engine gave up the ghost halfway round the first lap. That would bring out a red flag, and the first heat will be restarted without the Irish star on his RX 150 debut. Fortunately, he would be able to run again later in the day. Mark Scott would dominate proceedings over heats 1 and 2 for the buggies, taking victory by a clear margin in both races. But in the 3rd heat, it was Palmer who took the fight to the double champion. A fine battle saw the former single-seater circuit racing star come home in front at the checkered flag, setting up another exciting dice for the A final later on. The hot hatches and BMW Minis ran together with only a couple of entries in each category. The Super 1600s also being scheduled to join them, but unfortunately both their entries, Andrew Toomey and Craig Lomax, would break down in practice. Thomas Velgosh would dominate proceedings in his hot hatch Peugeot 106, while fellow Polish driver Robert Potira would unfortunately not get very far. Belroche would take all 3 heats and the A final in hot hatch, with David Bell winning the round in the 2-strong BMW Mini category over Martin Hawkes. Portera, meanwhile, was out of the meeting after Heat 1. The MSA Super Nationals ran combined with the Irish Championship Super Modified category, and 3-way splits for the heats were necessary due to the huge entry. Irish drivers would dominate the opening heats, with Padre Gleeson and Willie Coyne taking wins, but one of MSA Championship leader Dan Rook.
Dan Rook leading the Super National category at the moment, but it's been a busy few weeks for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, been very busy. Getting the car ready for this event's been quite a challenge, and also at the Arcs Lights just before the World event, that was a busy time as well.
Obviously, for those who don't know, you were put forward as one of the nominated drivers. 10 drivers went forward for a chance to win a fully supported drive, and obviously you came from nowhere really to get that.
Yeah, a lot of guys hadn't really heard of me, but the guys who were selected. But I think I've showed my name well up there, and I hope to get someone out of it in the future.
Rook performed reasonably in the heats for the Super Nationals, but another championship contender sadly suffered problems.
Stuart Emery, already an eventful morning here at Mondello for you. Your boys have got the welder out. What's been going on?
Yeah, it probably looks worse than it is. I'm just trying to learn the circuit. It's the first time I've been here. I've been trying to find the limits of the corners and passed it a few times. So in practice we just snapped a wheel stud. So they're just replacing it. It's not a big drama.
No worries. Well, listen, you are the reigning Super National champion, but you look like you're under a fair bit of pressure from a young man at the moment.
Yeah, Mr. Rook. I mean, what can I say? He's coming to Rallycross this year, and what a credit he is to Rallycross as well. I've got to say that. Lovely guy. I love competition. Don't get me wrong. I like to win, but I love the competition. So, no, it's great. There's a number of drivers out there this year that can win events. So, you know, we've got to keep on top of our game, and I think as long as we keep the car going, and I keep my head in the right place, then we'll be there or thereabout.
Unfortunately, more problems would strike Emery's Peugeot 206 through the heats, suspension and handling being the main issues, and that would sadly keep the reigning champion out of the finals. Tony Lynch's BMW Mini was top Super National performer in all 3 of the heats to gain pole position for the A final, as up front Irish stars Padre Gleeson and Willie Coyne in their Corsas got on with the winning. Gleeson taking 2 heats and Coyne 1. Dan Rook was out in front in the B final, while back in the pack was C final winner Paige Bellaby in her Lotus Exige, along with fellow graduate from the C final Phil Kelly in the Toyota MR2. Rook would dominate proceedings out in front in his Citroën AX, while further back a loose wheel caused this accident for Todd Crooks in his BMW Mini, putting an end to his day. Rook headed the qualifiers home, ahead of Patrick Bryan in his Vauxhall Nova, while Crooks had plenty of damage to repair. What of the supercar division meanwhile?
Andy Scott here with the Albertech team, obviously your team. It's been an interesting couple of events for you so far. Obviously, Mr. Godfrey seems to be catching up again.
Yeah, Julian's obviously probably most serious contender at the moment. He had a very good weekend in Pembrey, and he's just set the fastest time in time practice. So, yeah, I have to take him very seriously.
Mondello is a circuit that we've not visited since 2011. I'm assuming a man of your experience, and I say that with the greatest respect, of course, has been to Mondello many times.
Yeah, young lad like me, I have been here a couple of times before. It's the first time I've been on the circuit since the Joker Lap's been on. But yeah, always great to come to Ireland. The fans are always fantastic. I mean, who couldn't have a good weekend in Ireland?
Mark Flaherty, it's a second car for this season. Tell us a little bit about the new car.
Yeah, this car was bought and we're setting up now our own new team, which is quite exciting. We're looking forward to getting some track time in the car now, getting used to it. We were out last weekend in Buxtehude in Germany, and yeah, the car was quite well balanced, so I was quite pleased.
I was just about to say, obviously you've got a little bit of history in the British Rallycross Championship. That's an understatement. But Mondello, is this a familiar place for you?
Well, last time I was here was a long time ago. I don't want to say because it'd show my age. But actually I was on this time practice, I was struggling to find where the Joker Lap was, because the last time I was here we didn't have Joker Laps. But other than that, I think we're going to have a fun weekend.
Following his dominant victory in the third round of the championship in South Wales, Julian Godfrey was the clear favourite heading into Mondello, and the way he came off the line for the opening heat for the MSA Supercars certainly showed his intentions. Ollie O'Donovan, meanwhile, was debuting his new Fiesta, which had been developed over the first half of the season. But he had to give best to Godfrey in the first heat of the day, Andy Scott clocking the overall best time in the Peugeot. In heats 2 and 3, Scott was also on form. A lightning start in the third stanza, taking him clear of his opposition and securing him pole position for the main event. European Rallycross touring car champion Derek Tohill, meantime, was out in O'Donovan's old Ford Focus, although problems in the third heat meant he had to give best to Scott and Kevin Proctor in the Peugeot and the Fiesta. Tohill improved as the day went on, as did Mad Mark Watson in his Citroën Zara and Andy Grant in his ex-Will Gollop Ford Focus, who missed the opening heat due to mechanical problems. Scott will qualify quickest overall, but the race of the day, and much the race of the weekend, came in the second heat between Godfrey and O'Donovan. Godfrey rejoining from his Joker lap almost into the side of O'Donovan's new Fiesta, and the pair would duke it out in a stunning battle right to the finish line. O'Donovan getting there by just a few thousandths of a second. B-final time then for the supercars. Andy Grant in his Ford Focus in pole position alongside Mad Mark Watson in the Citroën and Derek Tohill, son of George, in Ollie O'Donovan's Ford Focus. Mark Flaherty is out there, Declan Kelly and Noel Green complete the 6 drivers. They're all away well, and it's Andy Grant, the man from Devon, who leads in the ex-Will Gollop Focus. Mark Flaherty pushing Mad Mark Citroën, really pushing him into the hairpin there. He knocks him wide. Derek Tohill almost spins in avoidance. He goes for the Joker lap section as a result. It's Grant who leads from Flaherty, Mad Mark and Declan Kelly, the Irish champion in the Ford Fiesta, who's been rather off the pace today in 4th place. Again, the top 2 go through to the A final. Andy Grant it is who leads the way, chased by the later Ford Focus, and there's a bit of damage to Mad Mark's Citroën there, the tyre rubbing against the bodywork as a result of that contact. You can see the smoke as he goes down the straight. He'll be hoping that tyre doesn't burst and put him out of the race. He wants to get into that A final. He's had a good day so far today. Mad Mark only just missed out on qualifying for the A final from the heats. Mark Flaherty with his new Ford Focus, the ex-Cohen Powell's machine, if I remember rightly, drops behind Declan Kelly as he takes the Joker. Behind him, Derek Tohill in the ex-Ollie O'Donovan Ford Focus. Ollie already qualified for the A final with his new Fiesta. 3 cars line astern round last corner. Up onto the curb goes Flaherty. The smoking Citroën of Mad Mark ahead of them with that tyre fouling against the bodywork. And Mark Flaherty trying to push his way through. He's really pushing his way through there into turn 1. He's now run wide on the exit and undone all the work he did there because Tohill goes back through. Now Flaherty will fight back and try and retake the Irishman in the similar Ford Focus. Andy Grant takes his Joker lap, re-emerges still in the lead. There's Mad Mark in 4th place. So it's Tohill up to 2nd, Flaherty 3rd, but Andy Grant, having built that advantage early on as everybody else squabbled behind him, it looks like has done enough to all but secure himself a win in this B final. He missed the first heat after a few problems in practice, but he's ironed those out and he's surely heading for victory. Off has gone Noel Green in the Mitsubishi. Now, is that a marker tyre or has it come off the Mitsubishi? I think that's a marker tyre. So it's Grant ahead of Tohill, then it's Flaherty. These 3 fighting for 2 places in today's A final. The 3 Ford Focuses run together. Onto the back straight they go for the last time. Oh, Tohill's clipped that marker tyre and round he goes with a shove from Mark Flaherty, who's driven very aggressively in this B final, and that's cost Derek Tohill a chance of qualifying through. He hit that stray tyre on the back straight, I think. Meantime, the win is going to go to Andy Grant, Mr. Consistent as always in the Ford Focus. Mark Flaherty goes through in 2nd place. Mad Mark just misses out, and a doubtlessly disappointed Derek Tohill comes in 4th. As a result, then Andy Grant the winner by around 2 seconds ahead of Mark Flaherty. Mad Mark in 3rd, then Tohill, Declan Kelly and Noel Green following that spin completes the 6 finishers in his Mitsubishi. Now it's time for the A finals, and we begin with the junior drivers. 4 MSA Junior Rallycross contenders in their Suzuki Swifts, and our 2 Irish Junior Rallycross Championship drivers. Reigning champion Jake Dooley in the white Toyota Starlet, and newcomer Brian Martin from Galway in the Nissan Micra. It's Bradley Durden in pole position, Sam Jones and championship favourite Drew Bellaby alongside him. One of those 3 is surely going to take the win here. We are underway over 5 laps with the A final. Good start by Drew Bellaby from the outside in car number 2. Tries to squeeze Sam Jones in number 10 on the run into the first corner. They touch and Bellaby goes around. The favourite is left facing the wrong way. Who's going to come out of this with the lead? Brian Martin's coming through in the Nissan Micra to take the lead into the hairpin. Well, that's a surprise. Jones in second, or is he? Because here comes Dooley at the inside. It's an Irish 1-2 as they come through the hairpin. Oh no, it's not. Dooley and Jones crash out into the tyre wall. My goodness, what a messy start to our junior final. That's surely going to be a red flag as Brian Martin in the Micra leads the way, but there's surely no way the race can continue. There's tyres everywhere, and not surprisingly, the red flag is out. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that. Let's have a look at it from on board with Sam Jones. First he spins Drew Bellaby, aside on the first corner, then looks across to see Brian Martin and Jake Dooley trying to swarm through on the inside as they come up to the hairpin. Martin leads, contact between the Starlet and Sam Jones, and straight on wallop into the tyre wall. That's it, thank you, race over. Sam Jones manages to back out of the tyre wall, but the race is stopped. Let's see it from outside. Yes, there the cars just lock together and plunge into the tyre wall. Jake Dooley and the unfortunate Sam Jones. And the race red flag with that destroyed tyre wall. Ready for a restart then. 5 cars out there. There's no Sam Jones, but Jake Dooley has been able to rejoin, and Drew Bellaby will get a second chance as well. This time she's made a better start and will take the lead ahead of Bradley Durden into the first corner. Bradley always seems to be a bit slow off the line. Third place is Brian Martin, only his second ever Rallycross in the Nissan Micra. Then Jake Dooley in that increasingly battered Toyota Starlet. Looks like he's got a puncture there on the left front as well, so his days, I'm sure, in this race are numbered. Poor old Jake, he missed 2 of the heats with a broken wheel bearing and has now been involved in an accident in the final. Further back we've got Jenny Hawkes at the back of the field in her Swift, and that puncture certainly not slowing Jake Dooley down. He's still there in 4th place as Bellaby under fire from Durden for the lead. It's been a chaotic day for the juniors so far. Dooley runs wide, struggling with that flat left front tyre, as Durden, meanwhile, having a go at Drew Bellaby for the lead. Many were predicting that Drew Bellaby had run away with this year's junior championship. She finished runner-up to Charlie Bean last year. But here comes Brad Durden. Tries to cut to the inside, going through the hairpin. They're side by side as they come onto the back straights through Sayat Bend. Very close indeed between the 2 1300cc Suzuki Swifts. Durden up the inside. These 2 have clashed once today and they clash again. Bellaby sideways, bounces off the bank. Durden takes the lead and Bellaby spins again. Nose first into the bank. Oh, Drew Bellaby. What else can go wrong for her today? Bradley Durden leads then. And that's not the first time those 2 have clashed today. There's something of a feud, I think, developing between Bradley Durden and Drew Bellaby, who rejoins at the back of the field. It's Brian Martin in the Micra up into 2nd place in only his 2nd ever Rallycross. So Bradley Durden, his opposition more or less removed, is left with a clear lead. No joker laps, incidentally, in junior Rallycross, as Durden clears off in front, looking for his 2nd round win of the year, and he could take the points lead away here from title favourite Drew Bellaby. Jake Dooley pushes on. He's still going to get a decent finish in the Starlet, even with that puncture, because there's hardly any cars left. Durden onto his last lap then. Here's Drew Bellaby closing up on Jenny Hawkes in the number 13, and they're both closing on Jake Dooley's hobbled Toyota in turn. What a chaotic race we've had here, and it's starting to spit with rain as well. That'll shake up the other finals to come as through goes Bellaby past Jenny Hawkes up into 4th place. This man's heading for victory though, Brad Durden in number 96. Spots of rain on the camera there as you can see, but it's not going to slow Brad Durden down. He's coming towards the checkered flag, a 2nd final win of the year for the ex-Jake Taylor car of Brad Durden. Way ahead of his opposition, who have all tripped over themselves. It'll be Brian Martin, I think, in the Micra that takes second place. And Drew Bellaby, unless she can catch Jake Dooley here on the last bend, he's only going to be 4th over the line. That's really going to harm her championship chances. Jake Dooley, despite a puncture, will come home in 3rd place. The reigning Irish junior champion, then Bellaby and Hawkes. My goodness. There are only 5 cars on the grid. That was absolute mayhem. Let's check out the results of that one then. Bradley Durden, the winner, by 12 seconds ahead of Brian Martin, who wins the Irish junior round. Jake Dooley 3rd, Drew Bellaby only 4th then, Jenny Hawkes and Sam Jones, of course, eliminated after the first start. There's the championship then. Durden goes 2 points ahead of Drew Bellaby, and Jenny Hawkes, thanks to consistency, not that far away either. Time for the A final for the Swift Sports then. Aidan Hills, the former champion, on pole position with Jack Brown and Darren Scott alongside him, but lurking on the second row is the reigning champion and points leader Tristan Ovenden. Alongside him, Nathan Heathcote in the green car, and then Rob Maynard, Jake Taylor and David Ellis, the 2 B final qualifiers, completing this grid of 8 cars. This will be a 5-lap race. Joker laps, of course, compulsory in Swift Sport. And away we go. Let's see who gets the best start towards the first turn. Darren Scott's got away well from the outside of the front row. Aidan Hill's in there as well. He gets the advantage ahead of Scott into the first turn. Jack Brown is squeezed out in the 38 car. It's Hills that leads. Brown now up the inside and Ovenden. Darren Scott went wide exiting turn 1. He drops to 4th place. Tristan Ovenden looking for yet another A final victory to consolidate his points lead. At the back, Rob Maynard and David Ellis go for the Joker lap at the first time of asking. There go the leaders. Hills from Brown. Then it's Ovenden, Scott, Jake Taylor and Nathan Heathcote. Six Suzuki Swifts line astern around Mondello Park as the drizzle starts to fall. Aidan Hills, a former champion, coming back to Rallycross this year. He missed the opening round of the championship at Croft, so a little further down in the points chart. Certainly mounting a challenge here and pulling away from Jack Brown in 2nd place. Took the flag in the A final in round 2 at Lyddon, but was penalised because he didn't take a Joker lap. Talking of Joker laps, that's where Tristan Ovenden and Darren Scott are heading, followed by Jake Taylor in 5th place. Maynard and Ellis will close up on them as a result. Just see them there in the background, closing up on Taylor in the number 3. So still your leader is Aidan Hills in car number 8 out in front. Watch the battles at the back of the field. Rob Maynard, good consistent performer throughout this year so far in the orange car, holding off David Ellis. Last round at Pembrey, he sadly failed to race after breaking down in practice, so needs points here. Here are the leaders. Aidan Hills ahead of Jack Brown. Are they heading for the Joker this time? Indeed, Aidan Hills is. So that will give the lead to Jack Brown in number 38, looking for his first ever round win, the former stock car racer from South Yorkshire. Nathan Heathcote's taking his Joker lap in the background as well. So through go Ovenden and Scott. Into 3rd and 4th places. Hills in 2nd. The only man who, if my calculations are right, hasn't taken his Joker yet is Jack Brown. He's out in front in car 38. Through in 2nd place goes Hills. We look at our finish line camera. And it's Ovenden, Scott. Into turn 1 they go. Behind Darren Scott, I think it's Nathan Heathcote. As Aidan Hills continues his pursuit of the 38 car of Jack Brown at the front. Brown takes the Joker lap this time. Has he done enough? No, he hasn't. Aidan Hills retakes the lead of the Swift Sport A final, and he is surely heading for victory. Despite missing an early round of the series, could we see Aidan Hills move up to challenge Tristan Ovenden at the top of the points later in the year? Another round to come after this at Mondello Park, then it's Pembrey, Lyddon Hill and finally Croft, before the British Grand Prix to end the season at Croft as well. Into the last lap we go for the Swift Sports A final with Aidan Hills all set for victory. Main battle now is for 2nd place with Tristan Ovenden, the championship leader, closing in on Jack Brown for 2nd place. Through Sayat Bend they go towards the back straight. I don't think they're going to catch Aidan Hills in the number 8. Darren Scott still there in fourth, well clear of Jake Taylor and the rest of them. But it's going to be a win for Aidan Hills, a welcome returnee to the Swift Sports Series this year. The checkered flag is out and Hills wins the A final. Second place will go to Jack Brown. Tristan Overton has to be content with third. Darren Scott comes over in fourth. The battle for fifth is topped by Jake Taylor. Then Maynard, Nathan Heathcote and David Ellis complete the 8 finishers. Here's confirmation of the result then. Aidan Hills the winner by around 2 seconds ahead of Jack Brown, with Ovenden third ahead of Scott, Taylor and Rob Maynard completing the top 6. Nathan Heathcote and David Ellis the other finishers. Let's hear from our race winner in just a moment, but let's look at the points. First of all, Tristan Ovenden still well clear of Darren Scott and Jack Brown at the top of the championship.
Aidan, it's been, we've stayed out your way today, and I think I might have done you a favour because I know there's been some heat wins and obviously an A final win now. Well done.
Yeah, it's finally come. I've been trying so hard this season. I missed the first round, obviously, and from then on we've had the pace to win a final, but it hasn't come together. And today, won all 3 heats, and I thought it was the day, but it finally came. We finally put it together in a final.
Listen, you can't go out and celebrate too much, obviously, tonight because we've got day 2 here at Mondello, but I think you deserve a pint. Listen, really, really well done.
Yeah, I might just have a cheeky one tonight and then see what we do tomorrow. Yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow now. I've got the monkey off my back and we can go on and see what we can do for the rest of the season.
RX 150 buggies up next for their final. This should be a battle between the man on pole, number 1, Mark Scott, and number 99, Chrissy Palmer, alongside him in the blue buggy. They've divided the heat wins up between them. Away we go, and the other front row man, Stephen Jones, hasn't got away. It's Palmer who leads into the first corner, pushed by Mark Scott. George Tracy, the local man in the green, number 7, is up into third position. Having a look for second place, Palmer's got the lead as they head into the hairpin for the first time. Scott tries to cut through as they come out of the hairpin onto Sayat Bend. No joker laps in RX 150 racing, of course. The first 3 have got clear. Look out also for Irish TV presenter from RTE, John Kenny, who's further back in the field, having a go at Rallycross in Dave Bellaby's buggy here today. So Palmer leads as the rain begins to come down here at Mondello Park. Palmer and Scott have been dividing the wins up between them pretty much all season, with the exception of round 1, which was won by Dave Bellaby up at Croft after Mark Scott suffered gearbox problems. Palmer, the former single-seater star on the circuits, leads the way then. George Tracy, Irish Rallycross star for many years, up there in third position. A few mechanical problems for him in the heats in the ex-James Grint buggy. Palmer goes wide, coming into the back straight, and Scott says, thanks very much, I'll go through and take the lead. Can Chrissy Palmer find a way back through then? Been a wonderful duel between these two all season long. There's John Kenny in the purple machine battling with Mitchell Flaherty, who we saw crash into the tyres in one of the heats earlier on. Stephen Jones, I can tell you, unfortunately is out of the race, the man who's third in the championship, suffering problems on the start. Scott leads then, a bit of a lock-up there going into the hairpin. Palmer's got the better line as they come down the inside. George Tracy spins out onto the grass. That'll be third place gone in the Scaftech sponsored machine. It leaves these two well clear. Scott still ahead of Palmer, but only just. Palmer has a look as they come down towards Irish Ferry's corner, through the gap onto the tarmac, through the final corner. It's still Scott, drifts his way onto the tarmac. There's Tracy, he's going again after that mishap. It's just between these two as they go into the last lap. Scott versus Palmer, really throwing these buggies around Mondello Park, and Scott's gone wide onto the grass. He's lost the lead coming out of turn 1. Back up the inside into the hairpin. They almost touch. Scott's lost it. Goodness me, I thought they were going to take each other out there going into the hairpin. Palmer gets round and he is in the lead. What a terrific fight between these two it has been. You only need 2 cars for a good motor race, and that's certainly what we've seen here. Chrissy Palmer is heading for victory, and it looks like he will keep the points lead. We'll check on that at the conclusion of this one. A marvellous dice between these two has been won by Chrissy Palmer in number 99. He takes the flag ahead of Mark Scott. Magnificent stuff between those two. Here comes John Kenny. A successful Rallycross debut for him. He's kept his nose clean, just kept out of trouble. Well done to John, our racing novice. He'll come home the tail of the field, but certainly not disgracing himself on his Rallycross debut. Here's the result then. Chrissy Palmer the winner by 2 seconds ahead of Mark Scott. George Tracy recovering from a spin to take third. Mitchell Flaherty in fourth, ahead of John Kenny, and Stephen Jones was an early retirement. Let's go and hear from both our protagonists then in a moment. And there is the points chart then. 5 points in it. Palmer ahead of Scott, with Jones further back in third position. Let's go and hear from Chrissy Palmer and Mark Scott.
Mark Scott, Chrissy Palmer. I'm going to start with you, Mark. I'm used to interviewing you at finals, and for once I'm interviewing you not because you've won, but because you were second, and we're going to come to Chrissy in a second. What an epic battle that was.
What can I say? Start to finish, brilliant race. Never got the greatest of starts. Chrissy obviously did. There was a couple of passing manoeuvres from both sides, and unluckily for me, he finished up in front on the last one. So, brilliant race though. Absolutely buzzing for it. Yeah.
If I can bring Chrissy in. Chrissy, how was it for you?
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, me and Mark had a great race. Couldn't have said anything. We both gave each other room. Really good driving. Both of us deserved it. Well, luckily for me, I did finish on top, but we both deserved to win. It was a really good race. I'm really happy.
We'll be trying to make sure that doesn't happen tomorrow, believe me.
Listen, guy, it was a joy to watch, and I look forward to watching you again tomorrow.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Certainly a lot of drivers in the Super National and Super Modified classes though this weekend. They've had 3 finals. It's a final time for them. Tony Lynch in his BMW Mini is in pole position. Pierce Brown alongside him. There's contact off the grid though. Gavin Jess in the Metro picks up some damage there, and that's delayed Willie Coyne in the Corsa, who was one of the favourites here. Damage for the ex-Mike Dresser Metro. Let's have a look again from on board with Tony Lynch. There was a real schmozzle coming off the grid there, and that smashed the passenger window in Tony Lynch's BMW Mini. It's Padre Gleeson in his Corsa who's taken up the lead ahead of Pierce Brown in the BMW. Tony Lynch, that's lightened his car a bit, but certainly not slowed him down. He takes his Joker lap. There is Gareth Wood in the Ford KA in third place ahead of Patrick Ryan and Dan Rook, 2 cars that qualified through the B final. Willie Coyne next in the order in the green Corsa. We go on board with Super National Championship leader Dan Rook in his 1600cc Citroën AX, chasing Patrick Ryan, the man he beat to victory in the B final earlier on. Into turn 1 we go. Tipping the corner is fine as he dares without hitting the barrier. And up towards the hairpin. Ryan having a go, but under fire in turn from Rook, who goes through at the hairpin. Next target is Gareth Wood, the Tynesider in his Ford KA. Willie Coyne trying to recover, went very well in the heats earlier on in his Corsa as the sun comes out again. It said the weather was unpredictable here at Mondello. On board with the championship leader Dan Rook from Holsworthy in Devon, chasing down Gareth Wood's fantastic little Ford KA. Still ahead of them though, Padre Gleeson in his Corsa, away and clear. Pierce Brown in the BMW is still there in second. Then it's Wood, Rook, Coyne. Tony Lynch is next in his BMW Mini. Gavin Jess out of the race, of course, the ex-Mike Dresser Metro after that collision off the grid. Rook trying to go around the outside of Gareth Wood as Willie Coyne heads for the Joker lap. The veteran Irish rallycrosser would have been considered one of the favourites for this A final, but was delayed in that contact off the grid behind the Metro. Gareth Wood still staying ahead of Dan Rook, maybe looking to close the gap on the Citroën in the championship standings. Wood pulling away from Rook as we look from inside the small but spectacular Citroën. 2 pocket rocket machines fighting it out for third place behind the BMW of Pierce Brown. Rook up the inside as they go into the hairpin, doesn't want to outbrake himself. He gets the line right, stays ahead of Gareth Wood. There's our leader meantime, Padre Gleeson in the Corsa. As Rook goes through in a second, Brown and Wood both take their Joker laps. Tony Lynch has come through and Willie Coyne, so Gareth Wood's lost out big time there in the Joker lap section. He's ahead of Patrick Ryan now in his Nova. Gareth Wood really the big loser that time on the Joker section. Tony Lynch is moving up well in the BMW Mini as well. Rook has yet to take his Joker lap, so has Leeson. They'll have to take them this time because we're on the last lap. Willie Coyne now moving past Tony Lynch. We're on board with him. A little bit of extra ventilation in his car now with the passenger window gone. Saves a bit on weight though. As he chases down Willie Coyne into the hairpin. Dan Rook taking his Joker lap. Now where is he going to slot in? He's going to be behind a couple of the Irish contenders. He's behind Tony Lynch as well. So Lynch now the top Englishman. And if it stays like this, he'll take top points for Super National. That's not what Dan Rook wanted to see. Tony Lynch's BMW Mini ahead of him. Wait to see who's going to take the overall win as well for the Irish modified rallycross category. Checkered flag is out then, and across the line they come. We'll check out the results in a moment. Looks like Padraig Gleeson has taken the win in his Corsa. We'll confirm that now. He does indeed take the win, 10 seconds up the road ahead of Piers Brown. Willie Coyne in third, but Tony Lynch in fourth place takes maximum points for the Super National division ahead of Dan Rook. Patrick Ryan completing the top 6. There's your Super National points then. Dan Rook still in the lead ahead of Alan Tapscott, who was down in the C final. Tony Lynch in third. Let's go and hear from Tony in the pits.
Tony Lynch, I said I was going to chat to you a bit later on today. Obviously, I told you I would anyway.
Well, you brought me good luck today, haven't you? Because obviously I came here. I love the Irish. I've always enjoyed being at Mondello Park, but it's never really been kind to me. And I just think the conditions today helped me, because more rain for me tomorrow, simply because the car's not overpowered at the minute, and it does suit the big long straight, does suit the powerful cars. As you just saw there, I was in the lead, but the two Irish boys went past me. But it's just great to be on the podium and to be the first Brit, maximum points. I'm over the moon, I really am. It's been really hard work with the car, and it's not finished. The potential in this car is great. And I've just got the best team of boys in the world, honestly. The work they put in, the effort, it's emotional, really.
Well then indeed to Tony Lynch. Now it's time for the Rippler Retro Rallycross final. Barry Stewart in the Porsche 911 has dominated the day so far. He'll start in pole position. Ray Morgan's out there with the Escort, and look at that lovely Peugeot 205 of Patrick Donoghue, number 909. He's actually running in the rally car class this weekend. There is a rally car class in Irish Rallycross. David Aiken is out there as well with his works liveried Vauxhall Astra GTE, the ex-Tony Bardi car. He lines up alongside Barry Stewart. And completing the front rank is Ray Morgan's Escort. Then we've got Lance Foster, who lost a wheel earlier on in one of his heats. And finally Patrick Donoghue in the Peugeot 205. 5 cars on the grid then for the Retro Rallycross final. Away they go, and it's once again the Porsche of Barry Stewart who launches off the line into the lead. A better getaway from Ray Morgan this time in the Escort as well. He's had a quiet day by his usual standards. Up into second place goes the almost a Martin Shanker lookalike machine, that is. Lance Foster's Mini is third, and then our two local contenders, Patrick Donoghue and David Aiken, in the Peugeot and the Astra. They'll battle together at the back of the field. And it's Barry Stewart looking to make it 4 round winners from 4 meetings in Retro Rallycross so far this year. We've seen wins so far for Ray Morgan's Escort, for James Harrold in the VW Beetle, and for Rob Gibson's famous yellow Metro 6R4 in A finals so far this season. Looks like Lance Foster possibly with a problem there with the Mini. He loses ground to Donoghue and Aiken. It's been a fraught day for the green and white Mini spares. Man, he's going to need some green and white Mini spares, I think, to get that car fettled for round 5 here at Mondello. Chasing hard now on the back of Donoghue and the 136 of David Aiken, who came close to a heat win earlier on, only to pick up a penalty. The only man who's really taken the fight to Barry Stewart's Porsche today, but he's behind Patrick Donoghue's Peugeot in this one, the drum redriver. The GM Dealer Sport liveried Astra has a look as they come into the last corner. Peugeot also in work style livery moves to cover. Astra down the outside now, locks up a bit into turn 1. Lance Foster behind them, dropping back in the Mini. Still your leader is Barry Stewart in his Porsche 911. Man from Lewis in Sussex. We watch the Irish pairing battle it out for third place. Ray Morgan from Hastings up there in second place in the Escort. There he is. Retro Rallycross Driver of the Year in 2014, won the prestigious John Button Memorial Trophy in memory of the pioneer rallycrosser and father of the great Jensen Button. Aiken gets through for third as they go into the last lap. It's looking good for Barry Stewart. He's going to make it 4 different final winners in the Rippler Retro Rallycross Series out of 4 rounds this year. Aiken up there in third in the Astra. Lance Foster, a day of struggle for him in his Mini, he's back in 5th. Barry Stewart pulling clear of Ray Morgan. Oh, a little sideways moment there out of the Irish Ferries corner for the last time. He might have a slight problem there, but he's going to make it to the checkered flag. Barry Stewart slowed up a bit in the final lap, but he takes the win ahead of Ray Morgan, Aiken in third, then Donoghue and Foster. Check out the official result of that one then in just a few moments' time. Here it is, Barry Stewart the winner by 2.5 seconds ahead of Ray Morgan at the flag. David Aiken wins the Battle of the Irish for third place ahead of Patrick Donoghue. Lance Foster completing the 5 runners in the middle. It's now time for our main event of the day, the A final for the MSA Supercars. The grid forming up as I talk to you. It's Andy Scott, the championship leader in the Peugeot, in pole position. Julian Godfrey alongside him. Kevin Proctor in his Fiesta completing the front row. Ollie O'Donovan's new Fiesta on row 2, along with local man Jeffrey Dolan in the Opel Astra. And then on row 3 we've got Steve Hill in the Mitsubishi, Andy Grant in his Ford Focus, and Mark Flaherty in the ex-Cohen Pavel's car completing the 8 drivers. This will be a 5-lap race. This is going to be a cracker. What a front row. Andy Scott, Julian Godfrey, the 2 championship leaders. Kevin Proctor in his Fiesta alongside him. Watch for the new car of Ollie O'Donovan from row 2 as well. They'll be the 4 favourites. The red lights are on. The race gets underway. We go on board with Andy Scott as they leave the line. Who's going to get the advantage then? It's Julian Godfrey that gets away in the lead. There's contact between Scott and Proctor, and Scott spins right out onto the infield. There goes the championship leader. Oh dear, what a disaster for Andy Scott. So Julian Godfrey it is who leads then. Kevin Proctor in second place. Ollie O'Donovan goes for the joker lap in his Fiesta, throws it sideways. He's almost lost it there. So's Mark Flaherty. Further back, O'Donovan, what's happened to him? He's off right onto the infield there now. I don't know if that counts as a joker lap because he's come back out onto the track halfway through it after that mistake. Wait to see whether he has to take another one later on. Steve Hill in the Mitsubishi's in trouble. He's into the gravel trap. I think his steering may have broken on the Mitsubishi. Just went straight on there. And here's Andy Scott, and he's come to a halt in the joker lap section. Oh dear, I don't think Andy Scott's going to be leading the championship after this one, unfortunately. Scotsman through the chicane there. Let's have a look again. We're on board with Andy Scott. It's Julian Godfrey who got away best. Scott tries to get down the inside of Kevin Proctor. There's contact. Proctor sideways. Scott spins and slides out onto the infield, almost into the tyre wall. There goes his championship lead by my reckoning. Scott throws it round on the grass, doubtlessly very angry. Andy Scott rejoins at the back. Here's Jeffrey Dolan, the local man in the Opel Astra, taking his joker lap. Just behind Andy Grant there in his Focus. But here's our race leader, Julian Godfrey, looking for his second A final win of the season. He won the last round at Pembrey. Andy Scott up ahead of him there is about to be lapped after his earlier mishaps. Kevin Proctor has managed to recover. He's in second place. The rest of the opposition have rather self-destructed, haven't they? There is Proctor in second place, the coach company boss from North Yorkshire. And there is Andy Scott. I hope he's not going to balk the leaders at all. Here comes his championship rival, Julian Godfrey. Not going to be any underhand tactics here, I hope. Board with Andy Scott. Still ahead of Godfrey at the moment, just keeping his eyes ahead of him. To turn one, there you go, there is Godfrey. Just see him in the background. Still leading the way, looking for his second round win of the year. And that's Mark Flaherty. He's stopped on the track at the exit of the hairpin, I think that is. Godfrey goes for the joker lap in avoidance. Mark Flaherty stationary there in the middle of the track. I wonder if we're going to see a red flag here. Godfrey and Proctor take their joker laps together, so Godfrey will hold his lead ahead of the North Yorkshireman. But no red flags coming out, the race continuing with Mark Flaherty sitting in the middle of the track on the exit of the hairpin. That's rather bizarre, I have to say. Andy Grant still going, battling with Ollie O'Donovan, who was badly delayed early on. They're battling for fourth place behind Jeff Dolan in the Astra, who's going well in third. There's not much left beyond that, it has to be said. Another race of attrition for the supercars. Andy Scott is still going, but way behind. In the last lap now, Julian Godfrey's heading for victory. Up there in second place, it is Kevin Proctor. His fortune's improving all the time. Bits of bodywork flying off his Fiesta after that early contact with Andy Scott. but it's Julian Godfrey who's heading for his second successive A-final victory. The reigning champion takes the checkered flag. Bodywork falling off his car as well. Proctor comes over in second, and it's going to be Jeffrey Dolan in the Astra in third place. Here's Andy Scott, almost a lap down in the Peugeot, and Mark Flaherty's car still in the middle of the track on the exit of the hairpin. What a chaotic race there for the supercars. Let's check out the result of it. Julian Godfrey the winner by 3 seconds ahead of Kevin Proctor. Jeff Dolan a fine third ahead of Andy Grant, the B final winner. Ollie O'Donovan down in 5th. Andy Scott completing the top 6. We'll see in a second whether he's kept his championship lead, and he hasn't. 2 points now behind Julian Godfrey, with Grant, Mr. Consistent as always, in 3rd, Proctor in 4th, Ollie O'Donovan 5th, and the absent Steve Harris completing the first 6. Well, Julian Godfrey then backing into his pit garage down in Mondello Park's pit lane as the team hose the car off after a fine drive by the 4-time British champion. Tony Simpson will be down there in a second to talk to him as he gets out of the car.
If we can just grab you again. I think we said it earlier. Julian Godfrey's definitely back on form.
Yeah, no, it went very well in the final there. Good, very good start, and I'm not sure what happened to Andy, but I lapped him, so that's good points for me because he's scored badly in the final, so, and no bonus points this weekend, so I think that might put me back in the lead of the championship.
I think he will. I think he will be. Sorry, I just had to catch Julian's helmet there and just grabbed him off camera. But listen, very, very well done. Obviously, we have got another day tomorrow, but congratulations, you are back on form.
Yeah, thanks very much. I enjoyed that. That was a good race. Thank you.
So the crowd heads home happy then after a very eventful day's rallycross here at the home of motorsport in Ireland. Join us for more soon from round 5 of the British Championship here at Mondello Park. It's goodbye for now.